Fine, good morning to you all students. Hi students, how are you? I hope you all are fine and you all are doing well. So wish a happy new year to you all students. So may God bless you all abundantly. So pray to God for your health, parents, education, health, everything. Okay. So fine, good morning to you all. Welcome to our today's online class students. So have you all written your exam well? So how you wrote your exams? So have you all written? So I think you all are written well. Okay. So till now I have completed chapter 9. Isn't it? So chapter 9 is divided into two parts. So your exam portion already you have completed till chapter 1 to 9. Isn't it? So first part of the chapter 9 is get over. So today we are going to study about second part of the chapter 9. Okay. So what's the title of our second part of the 9th chapter means? So in this chapter we are going to study about data types, variables and expressions. Understand? So what are things you are going to study in this chapter? Data types, variables and expressions. Okay. So listen. So now we are studying about a programming language called C++, isn't it? So 9th chapter onwards you are studying a new programming language called C++, isn't it? So what are things you have studied in C++? Just basic things, isn't it? So what do you mean by header file? Then how many functions, main of function. So what are the input functions, C in, C out. So this and all things you have studied, isn't it? So each and every programming language have two important fundamental elements are there. Okay, not only C++, all the programming languages will have how many fundamental elements? Two main fundamental elements. Okay, so what are the two element means? First one is data type and second one is variable. Okay, so important one more question. So please take your computer textbooks and mark it. Okay. So what's the important two fundamental elements in the programming language? Data types as well as variables. Okay. So these two elements are very important as well as very essential thing. So if you are going to write a program means without this data types and variables, you can't be able to complete a program well. Okay. So these two elements are very essential thing to make the program well. Okay. So while you are installing a software itself, some predefined data types are there. Okay. So what do you mean by predefined? So name itself having predefined. So what's the meaning pre? Before. So already it is defined in your software package itself. Okay. So while you are installing a C++ software itself, some data types are already installed or pre-installed in your software. Okay. So by using the data types, it will handle lot of data items. Okay. So such type of data types we are calling as in which one? Fundamental or built-in data types. Understand? Important two more question. So what do you mean by fundamental or built-in data type? Mark it. Okay. So in a textbook also same thing only. So please mark it. What do you mean by fundamental or built-in data type? Important question. So what do you mean by fundamental or built-in data type? So that is means while you are installing the software itself, some predefined, that is already defined, some data types are there. For what? What purpose? For handling some data items. Okay. So such type of data types are known as which type? Which type? Built-in or fundamental data type. Understand? This is the first type. So next thing, predefined means already it is defined inside the program. So next thing, so if a particular user is going to write one new program. Okay, for example, you are going to write one new program. Okay, then who is the user? You. Who is writing a program? That person we are calling as an user. Okay, or programmer. Person who wrote the program we call as a user or a programmer. Okay, so that programmer can also create own data types. Okay, as per user type, that means as per the user or as per the programmer wish, he or she can define some new defined data types. Okay, so such type of data types are called as which one? user defined data type. This is also important 2 mark question. So what do you mean by user defined data type? Okay, what do you mean by user defined data type? So already predefined data types are there. Okay, so apart from the predefined or built-in data type, a particular programmer, as per the programmer wish, the programmer create own data type. Okay, that is called user defined data type. Understand? So what are things you have studied in introduction part? So for each and every programming language, two fundamental things are there. What are they? Data types and variables. Okay, so without these two things, you can't able to complete the program. Okay, so and also two types of data types you have studied here. What are they? Built-in. What's the other name of built-in data type? Fundamental. Okay, that's the first type. Second type is user-defined data type. Okay, what do you mean by built-in data type? That means already predefined. Already it is defined inside the software itself. Based on your wish, you can able to use. That's all. But user defined means as per the user wish, user is defining the data type. That is called as which one? User defined data type. Understand? Okay. So next one is concept of data types. Okay, what's the next category? Concept. So what's the main concept of data type or how data type is working? Okay, so listen carefully. They have given one best example in your book. Okay, listen carefully. So here they are giving, listen, name equal to Ram. Okay, what's the name of a particular student? Ram. Okay, then age equal to 15. So the age of a student is 15. Then average mark equal to 85.6. So the average mark of the particular student is will be 85.6. Okay, so three details they have given. What are they? Name equal to Ram and age of Ram is 15 and average mark of the student Ram is 85.6. Okay, so here listen, this name, age and average mark. Okay, three things. Name, age and average mark. These three we are calling as a field. Understand? So which thing we are calling as a field? This one. That means the values are things, the values are hold some values. Okay, the fields are mainly used to hold some values. For example, name equal to Ram. So the name field is holding the value Ram. And age field is holding the value 15. Understood? Then average mark field is holding the value 85.6. Understood? What's the main use of field? So it will hold some values for the variable. Understand? So here, for example, A equal to 5, B equal to 10. So A and B we used to call as a field. 5 and 10 we are called as a values. Understand? So here also same thing. They are given name equal to Ram and age equal to 15, average mark equal to 85.6. So this name, age and average mark. These three things we are calling as an which one? Field. Okay. Then Ram, 15, 85.6. These three things we are calling as a values. Okay. This field, these three fields are used to hold some values. Understood the difference between fields and value? Yes. Okay. So same thing only here they are giving. Listen carefully. So in the programming language we used to call the field is called field. The other name of field we are calling as variables. Okay. Understand? So in the programming language we are calling the field as a variables. Important one more question. The fields are referred as variables and the values are defined as data. Understand? So in the programming language, so what do you mean by field? In the previous example, that name, age, average mark. These three things are field. Okay. So simply we can say that three things are variables. Understand? Normally in a programming language we used to call as a variables, not as a field. Understand? This is a field. So what's the other name for field? Variables. Okay. And the values. For example, a RAM, 15, then 85.6. That's the values, isn't it? The other name of values are called as data. Important one more question, mark it. Understand what's the, in the programming language, the field is referred to as, what's the other name of field? Variable. And what's the other name of values? Data. Okay. So and also one thing, listen carefully. If you see the example means, so each data are different. Whether each data are same type. First one is RAM. That's an alphabet, isn't it? RAM is a sequence of alphabet characters. So and the other remaining things, age, for example, age equal to 15, that's a whole number. So and the second one, average mark, that's a fractional number, isn't it? So three data are of different types, three different types, isn't it? First one is a name equal to RAM. RAM is of a alphabets, English characters or English alphabet. Then second thing is age equal to 15, that's the one whole number. Then third thing, average mark equal to 85.6, that's a fractional number, isn't it? So three field or three variables are carrying values of three different types. Okay, so for this only we are using data types. Okay, so each one, the main use of data type is used to represent the variables or belongs to each which data type. Understand why data type is required? For in the same example, if your C means name equal to RAM. RAM is of what? Collection of alphabets. Then age equal to 15. So that's one number. Okay, then average mark equal to 85.6. That's a fractional number. So these three things are three different types. So likewise, if the variables are or the values are of different types, we used to represent data type. Understand? Okay. So listen. For likewise, in the programming language, if you are writing lot of programs, okay, so each programs will be of different things, okay, based on the program needs, we used to represent data type. For example, they are telling, so distance from your home to school, so that may be some numbers, this is 32 kilometer or 33 kilometer. Next one is ticket fare, ticket amount, then for example 2.50 or 10.50, cost of a pen 1 rupee, marks. So each are of different types. Okay. So before handling this kind of data, the compiler will needs a proper information. So this one is defined to which data type. Already in the programming language itself, some predefined data types are there, isn't it? So apart from that, you are defining some new data type, means you should define data type. Understand about data type? Okay. So listen, next we are going to types of data types. Okay. So C++ support how many types of data types? Okay. So in C++ there are totally three main data types are there. Okay. So how many data types are there? Three. So what are they means? First one is fundamental data types. Okay. What's the first type of data type? Fundamental data type. Okay. Then second one is user defined data type. What's the second type of data type? User defined data type. Okay. Then third one is derived data type. Very important question. C++ data type. Very important question. Okay. So C++ data types are mainly divided into how many categories? Three main categories. What are they? Fundamental data type, user defined data type and derived data types. Okay. So same thing they have mentioned in the diagram. Okay, see. So normally in C++, this data types are divided into three main categories. Okay, what are they? User defined data type, fundamental, or what's the other name of fundamental? Built-in data type and derived data types. Okay, so data types are divided into three types. What are they? User defined, fundamental, built-in data type and derived data type. Okay, listen. Then, so user defined data types. So what are the user defined data types? So here they are giving four things. For example, they have given. Okay, so these are the user defined data type. What are they? Structure, union, class, enumeration. So this and all you are going to study detail in next chapters. Okay, so there are nearly 3 or 4 chapters are there. So each chapters you are going to study detailed about this type of data types. Okay, so what are the things will come under user defined data types? Structure, union, class and enumeration. And so this and all important question. So C++ data type, if they ask the question for your examination, means you should draw this diagram also. Understand? For 5 mark question means you should draw the diagram. Understand? Okay. Sometimes they ask you to draw the diagram for data types in C++. So listen carefully and study it and draw it. Okay. So next type is fundamental or built-in data type. Okay. Fundamental or built-in data type. So under the fundamental or built-in data type, there are three kinds of data types are there. Okay. So how many kinds of fundamental data types are there? Three. What are they? integer, integral types, void and floating point. So this kind of data types only normally we used to represent in the program. Okay, so which kind of data types normally we are using in the program? Fundamental or built-in data type. Okay, so what are the fundamental data types are there? Integral, void and floating point. Understand? So listen, next thing. So this integral data type is again divided into two types. Okay, so integral data type is again divided into how many types? Two types. What are they? Int and character. Okay, what are the two types? Int and character. Okay, next, floating point is divided into again two types. What are they? Float and double. Okay, floating point is divided into how many types? Two types. What are they? Float and double. Okay, so integral data type is divided into how many types? Two types. What are they? Integer and character. Floating point data type is divided into how many types? Two types. What are they? Float and double. Understood? And next one is the derived data type. Okay, what's the third thing? Derived data type. Okay, so derived data type is again divided into 4. Okay, so what are things will come under derived data type? Array, function, pointer and reference. Understood? What are things will come under derived data type? Array, function, pointer and reference. Understand? So how many types of data types you have studied here? Totally 3. What are they? User defined, fundamental and derived. So what are the things will come under user defined data type? Structure, union, class and enumeration. Okay. Then fundamental data type, how many types are there? 3. What are they? Integral type, void and floating point. Okay. So integral data type, how many types are there again? 2. What are they? Int and character. Okay. Then floating point is under floating point. What are the data types are there? Float and double. Okay. Then next one is derived data type. What are the derived data types? Array, function, pointer and reference. Understood? Okay. Next. So before you are going to study about data type, you should know about variables. What do you mean by variables? Okay. So what do you mean by variables means already we have studied. So the fields are in programming language, the field are otherwise referred as variables. Isn't it? So this is the definition for variable. Mark it. So the variables are the named memory location to hold values of specific data type. Okay. This is also important 2 more question. What do you mean by variables? Mark it. So what do you mean by variables? Variables are the named memory locations to hold values of specific data type. Okay. For example, you are giving a equal to 5. Otherwise, leave it. Take before the last week of study known example, name equal to RAM. Age equal to 15. So what are the variables you have used there? Name, age and average mark, isn't it? So these variables are named memory location. So if you take that example means you should store the values for name. So what value was storing here there? Name equal to RAM. Then age equal to 15. Then average mark equal to 85.6. So these 3 values you should store. So where the values are stored? The values are automatically stored in the memory. Okay. So in order to store the values inside the memory, you should need or you should declare some variables. Okay. For example, you are giving name equal to RAM. Name, age and average mark. So these 3 variables will hold initially. So if you are defining the program itself, first itself you are defining name equal to RAM, age equal to 15 and average mark equal to 85. Immediately these 3 variables will occupy some space in the memory. Understand? So what are the variables you are declaring? So that variables will occupy some space in the memory. For what purpose? To hold some values for the specific thing. For example, name equal to RAM. Okay, if you are declaring name equal to RAM means so initially it will assign some places for name and it will assign some places for age and it will assign some places for average mark. Okay, so once you are giving some value, for example name equal to RAM you are giving. So once you are giving the name, so the values will hold, the variables already hold some spaces for the values, isn't it? In that place the value will store automatically. Understand? For that, you should specify data types. Okay, so before in a programming language, before you are using some variables, you should specify some data types. Understand? So what do you mean by variables? Important 2-mark question. Variables are nothing but it is a named memory location. That means in a memory location it will name and it is used to hold some values for the specific data type. Okay. So before you are going to use the variables inside the program, you should mention the variables are belong to which data type. Okay. So listen, this is a syntax for declaring a variable. What do you mean by syntax? Means nothing but, okay. So in maths you will study formula. Okay. Same thing, just like a formula, in computer we used to call a word syntax. Understand? Maths just like a formula, in computer we used to call a word syntax. Okay. So this is syntax for declaring a variable. Okay. Otherwise a formula for declaring a variable. Okay. So how you need to declare the variable means first you should mention data type. So already you have studied about different types of data types. Okay. So based on that, so you are declaring some variable. So that variable belongs to which data type? Understand what are the data types? Fundamental data types you have studied in float. Int means nothing but if you are defining some numbers or whole numbers. For example, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some whole numbers you are defining. So that kind of numbers if you need to assign means, so you should use which data type? Int. Okay. So if you need to assign or give some point values. For example, the previous example you have studied, average mark equal to 85.6. Likewise, if you need to give some point values means you should define which data type? Float. Okay. So what's the main use of float means it is mainly used to declare point values. Understand? So what's the syntax for declaring a variable? First one is data type and second thing is variable name. Okay. So one example they have given, listen carefully. Int num1. Okay. So that means, so int is a data type. What do you mean by int? Int is a data type and num1. Num1 is a variable. Understand? So int is a data type and num1 is a variable. What do you mean by int? Already I said int means integer. That means some numbers. So what's the meaning of this? By saying itself you need to know int num1 means what's the meaning of this one mean? So you are declaring a new variable. What's the variable you are declaring? What's the variable name? Num1. Okay. So this num1 belongs to the data type int. That means then this num1 only will take the values. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Likewise with numbers only it will take as a input. Understand why? Because you are declaring the data type as a int. Int means numbers. So it will, this num1 value will, or num1 variable will always take the value number as a input. Okay. So if you need to specify more than one variable at the same data type. For example, here you are giving num1. Okay. So here you need to define 3 variables. Okay. For example, 3 numbers. If you need to define 3 numbers. Okay. So 3 numbers means how many variables you need? 3. For example, num1, num2, num3. Okay. So 3 numbers. So these 3 numbers are belong to same data type int. That means numbers. Numbers means automatically it will come under data type int. So whether you need to write 3 times int num1, int num2, int num3? No. To avoid that one, you can able to write the 3 things in a same line. Okay. But what's the condition means you should make or you should separate the variables with the commas. For example, here they are giving int num1 only one variable. Here for example 3 variables num1, comma num2, comma num3. Okay. So if more than one variable are used the same data type means you should separate by using commas. Understand? So see this example. Say int num1, comma num2, comma sum. So what's the meaning of this one? What's the meaning? The num1, that means in 3 variables. What are the variables? Num1, num2 and sum. These 3 variables. Okay. So 3 variables are belonging to the data type int. Understand? So 3 variables are belonging to the data type int. That means numbers. 3 variables will take only the number as a input. Okay. So if you need to declare some other data type. or some other thing. So based on that, you should define appropriate data type. Okay. So normally marks are used to represented in mark. If you are going to enter your mark, the marks are always represented using numbers. Okay. But if you are going to store the, for example, computer mark is, okay, you are going to store your computer science mark. Okay. So computer science mark means that mark is belongs to number. So it belongs to which data type? Number means data type is int. Okay. See this example. Int computer science marks. This is one variable, computer science mark. Okay. So computer science is a variable. That variable is ready to accept number as a input. Understand? Understand? Okay. So next we are going to study about some fundamental data types. Okay. What's the next thing you are going to study about? Fundamental data types. Okay. What do you mean by fundamental? Already you have studied fundamental or built-in. Fundamental or built-in. Okay. Fundamental or built-in mean what's the meaning? What's the meaning? Already predefined. While you are installing software itself, some kind of data types are predefined. Based on your needs, you can use the data type. That is called which one? Fundamental or built-in data type. Okay. So in C++ there are 5 fundamental data types are there. Okay. So in C++ how many data types are there totally? Total how many data types are there? 5. What are they? Character, integer, that means int. Character is given by the word char, C-H-A-R. Number, integer is given by the word int, int. Point numbers or decimal numbers or fractional numbers is given by the data type float. Okay. Then long integer is given by the data type double. Okay. Next thing is void. Understand what are the 5 important fundamental data types in C++? Character, int, float, double and void. Okay. So using this you can able to define your data types. Understand? So next we are going to study about each data type in detail. Okay. So first thing is int data type. Okay. What's the first kind of data type? Int data type. So already I said, so int means nothing but integer. What's the meaning of int? Integer. Okay. That integer is a short word, you are giving a word int. Okay. So it will always, if you are declaring a variable as an integer, that means int data type means it will always take only a integer values. What do you mean by integer values? Nothing but numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Likewise, any numbers you can give as the input. Okay. So the integer data type always will accept only integer numbers. Okay. So for that integer data type you are mentioning a word as int, int. Okay. So if you are giving a word int and you are going to run the program. So if you that word int if you are giving means the compiler, while you are running the program, the compiler will identify this variable belongs to the data type int. Okay. So if you are giving some fractional numbers, for example 85.6. So first one example you have studied, name equal to Ram, age equal to 15, marks equal to 85.6. So that kind of situations, your mark is a point number, isn't it? That is fractional. 85.6. So but unfortunately you are giving that data type as a int. Actually average mark equal to 85.6. So point numbers will come under which data type? Point numbers will come under which data type? Float. Isn't it? But instead of you are giving float, you are giving int. Okay, int a average mark. Okay, so it's some that kind of situations if you are giving, so the point numbers you are giving the data type as a int means, so it will take only the fractional integer part. Okay, only it will take the integer. For example 85.6, but you are mentioning the data type as int, so it will always take that 85. That's the integer part. After the decimal point, how many numbers are there, it will ignore. Okay. But if you are mentioning the float data type means no problem. But you are giving the number as giving input as a float data, float that is point number. But you are mentioning the data type as int means. So what's the meaning of int? So it will always take the numbers or whole numbers, isn't it? But you are mentioning number, that is a point number 85.6, that's a point number, but you are mentioning data type is a int. So in that kind of situations, the program will take only the integer part and we will ignore the fractional part. Understand? Okay. See this example, int num equal to 12. What's the meaning? So num, which one is the variable here? Int num equal to 12. So what's the variable here? Num. Num is the variable. Okay. Then what's the data type here? What's the data type? Int. So what's the value here? 12. Okay. So by saying in this example itself, you can say the variable num is of data type integer. Isn't it? The variable num is of data type integer. What's the meaning? So this num will always accept or always will take only numbers or integer data types. So only they are giving num equal to 12. Understand? Okay. So second type of data type is char data type, that is character data type. Okay. So what's the second type of data type? Char, that means character. Okay. So this character data type will accept character values. What do you mean by character? Alphabets. That means English alphabet, that characters. Okay. This character data type always accepts characters. Okay. And it will return ASCII characters output. Okay. So and it will return valid ASCII characters output. What do you mean by character data type? It will accept and it will return all the valid ASCII characters. So what are the ASCII characters you have studied in second chapter? What's the ASCII value of A? Okay, ASCII value of A, ASCII value of B. Likewise, lot of ASCII values you have studied, isn't it? So this data type is mainly used to accept the value and returns the ASCII code for a particular character. Okay, so listen carefully. Already you have studied each and everything will have ASCII values, isn't it? A ASCII value 64, B ASCII value 65, C is 66, isn't it? Likewise, each and every English alphabet will have ASCII values. Okay. So how these values are stored inside the memory? How this ASCII value is stored inside the memory? Okay. So you are giving computer science mark equal to 85.6 or average equal to 85.6. Okay. So if you are giving like this means initially, so all the characters are represented in the memory by using ASCII values. So each and every character will have separate ASCII codes, isn't it? For example, A equal to 64, B equal to 65, D equal to 66. Likewise, each and every character will have separate ASCII values. Okay. So if you need to represent these values or these variables in the memory, so it will take the value as ASCII code and store in the memory. Okay. So if a variable is declared as a character means. Okay. So if you are declaring a variable, if a variable is declared as a character mean, so this C++ will allow either the character or an integer value. Understand? If a variable is declared as a character data type means, so this C++ will allow storing either a character or an integer value. Okay, for that one best example they have given character C equal to A. Okay, then C out CH. Okay, what's the meaning means? So they are giving character data type as a character, but C equal to A. So already you have studied what's the meaning of this character. If you represent it means it will return ASCII code for that value. So what's ASCII value for A? 64. For that next step you are assigning a new variable CH. What's the next variable you are assigning? Next variable you are assigning as a CH. Next you are assigning the value of A equal to C, or assigning the value of C to CH. Understand? So first you are declaring a variable with the data type character. What's the meaning for character C equal to A? So it will return ASCII value for the code. For example, ASCII value of A is 64. Next step, you are going to assign that variable name with another one character, that is called CH. So CH is also now declared as a which data type? Character type. What's the meaning of CH? So it will hold the value of C. Okay, it will hold the value of C. That means value of C is A. So how you will get the output CH equal to A. What's the meaning means it will display the current ASCII value for the character A. Understood? Okay. See the next example. Character CH equal to A. Character CH equal to A. Next one, C out. What's the meaning of C out? C out, what are the statements you have given inside the C out? Automatically it will display in the output screen, isn't it? C out. So what's the normal meaning of C out? So automatically it will display what are things you are giving inside the C out. It will display inside the screen. Okay, here they are giving C out CH plus 1. What's the meaning of plus 1? So already you have studied in 9th chapter first increment operator and decrement operator. So CH plus 1 means it will increase the count for the particular character each time. Okay, so the value of CH is incremented by 1 at each time. And the value is stored again back into the variable CH. Understand what's the meaning of CH plus 1? That means the value of CH is incremented by 1 each time. Okay, and the value is again stored back to the variable CH. Okay, so if you are giving the increment operator, always it will display. So likewise, if you are giving the characters, for example, what's the value of CH? A plus 1. What's the meaning of A plus 1? It will take the, if you are giving alphabet means also it will take the ASCII code for the alphabet. So what's the ASCII code for CH? Okay, what's the ASCII code for A? 64. Okay, 64 plus 1. What's the next? 65. So it will display the next value B. So each time the value will get increase. Understand? Okay. So this is the one example program they have given in your book. So using this program you can easily understand. By this program they have mentioned integer and character data types. Okay. So what's the first step for writing C++ program? What's the first step for writing C++? First step is a header file. So what's the header file? Hash include IO stream. What's the use of IO stream? What's the use of IO stream? So IO stream will handle all the input and output operation. That means C in and C out. Okay. So next step is using namespace std. Okay. So what's the use of using namespace std? So what are the variables you are using inside the program? So the program will have the variables will come under which thing? The variables will come under using namespace std. Okay. Then semicolon. Then next step is main of function. Then open brace, close brace. Okay. So here listen carefully. First you are mentioning a variable n. So what variable you are mentioning at the first? N. So n is of data type int. What's the meaning? So you are entering some values for the data type. You are entering some values for the data type. So int n. Okay, you are entering some values for the variable n. Okay, so n, for example, n equal to 50. N equal to 50 means what's the meaning? The value of n is 50. So already you have mentioned the data type is int. So you can able to give only the value 50. Or not 50, any number. N equal to 50, n equal to 10 or 30. Any number you can give as an input. Understand why you are giving int n? Int n means that means n is belongs to number. So only integer. So next one is char ch. What's the meaning of char? Character. So the variable ch belongs to the data type character. Understand? N is defined as the data type int and character is defined as the data type ch. Okay. Next in the output screen. So what's the output operation? C out. Okay. So how you need to write C out? C out, then two less than symbol. Inside that enter an ASCII code. What's the meaning of this one? Means whatever you have given inside C out, that will display as it is in your output screen. Okay. Whatever things you are giving inside C out, as it is, it will display in the screen. Okay. So C out, enter an ASCII code. Okay. What you are giving, enter an ASCII code. So the ASCII code they are giving between the values 0 to 255. Okay, between what range of values they have given? 0 to 255. Understand? So next thing, listen. So C out you have mentioned. So what's the next thing? Variable declaration over. How many variables here? 2. What are the n and ch? So variable declaration over. Then C out inside output screen also you have written. Then you need to give some input. Okay. So input is given by which variable? N. Input is given by which variable? N. So Cin. So what's the symbol for using Cin? 2 greater than symbol. Cin. Understand? Next line you are assigning the variable ch equal to n. What's the meaning? Means whatever value you are entering ch, that value is automatically assigned to the variable n. Understand? Next you are giving in the cout equivalent character is. Okay, equivalent, what's the meaning of equivalent character? That means as already you have studied whatever characters you are entering, so it will display the ASCII code for the particular values, isn't it? So equivalent character equal to, so which variable? Now the values are storing in which variable? ch. So you should call the variable ch. Understand what are things you have studied here? So you are declaring with 2 variables. What are the n and ch? N is of data type int and ch is of data type character. Then inside the cout you are giving enter ASCII code. So it will display as it is in the as it is you are given in cout. Then you are giving input. Which variable you need to give the input? N. So input means which thing you need to use? Cin. Then next line you are assigning the variable ch equal to n. Next line equivalent character. So equivalent, what's the if I ASCII value it will return? A means it will return 64. So equivalent character is given in the variable ch. Okay. See the output. So what's the first line it will come? What's the first line they have given in cout? Here nran ASCII code 0 to 255. So they have entered the code as 100. Okay, next thing equivalent. So if immediately you are entering the value, the n will take the value as 100. Okay, you are entering the value 100. So n will take the value 100. Next, the value of n is assigned to the variable ch. So 100 equal to ch. So what's the use of ch? It will return the ASCII value for the number. So what's ASCII value for the number 100? D. Answer is D. Understood? So what are things you have studied today? Data types. What are they? Fundamental, derived and user data type. And fundamental data type, integer and character data type with one program you have studied. So after completion of this session, please study all the data types. That's a homework for you. Very, very important things. So thank you students. Remain, we can continue in the next class. Thank you.